Liverpool versus everybody. Here with JAMZ today, just to recap from the game last night at Anfield against Bayern Munich. We can start how we usually do, man. I think the lineup was pretty straightforward, but just to speak on it, was there any surprises there? I know there were some talks about Henderson maybe slotting in the center back role. Do you think as good as Fab was, do you think we could have benefited more from him in the midfield? Do you think Hendo was good? Just talk to me about how the team looked when we came out.
I expected that team, like you said. I think most people did. I'd rather Fabinho at centre back than Henderson. Although, like you said, we'd miss Fabinho in midfield. I just feel like going against Lewandowski, it's not like we're going against no disrespect, but Southampton or even an Everton or someone. We're going against one of the best in the world, and I just feel like Fabinho probably has more of a skill set to be a centre back height wise. Maybe experience. He's played a lot at right back as well. And he's played a centre back for us before. So maybe I felt like Klopp had probably done that through training. And Hendo does pull out some good performances at home in Europe. Been there, done that, worn the t-shirt kind of thing with Henderson rather than with Fabinho. He doesn't feel the pressure, whether it's England semi-finals or World Cup Champions League finals, whatever. And he always wants the ball. So I felt going against such a Thiago and Martinez, I thought Hendo was probably the right choice to go in midfield, and then Fabinho was the right choice in centre back.
Yeah, I agree. And just, I'm gonna jump right into it. I thought Henderson, just to piggyback on what you said, was amazing. I really did. I thought he was good, springing the ball around, help out his teammates when he gave the ball away. I mean, just a really, really excellent performance. And to be truthful, I think he's given those kind of performances more often than he's getting credit for. But last night was a game where we needed that presence. I think he knew what we could possibly be missing without Fab. And I think he thought to himself, you know what, let me give at least the same performance that people are expecting and what I know I can do. And that was really, really impressive. Back to Fab, I think he's obviously, I think collectively we all see how good he is. But just talk to me about Fab and just how quickly he's gotten up to speed. I mean, remember there were talks at the end of last year about him possibly going to PSG or, you know what I'm saying, leaving Liverpool already. So just talk to me about how amazing it is having him and being able to slot him into different roles, especially when we need him.
Yeah, I think he's been a great signing now. It did take long to come in. And do you remember the game at Emirates where everyone was slaughtering it? Even we were like, always taking a bit long. But I think he's a phenomenal signing. I think he's a last minute ditch for signing of the season. Everyone was giving Torreira praises at the beginning of the season. Fabinho's putting in performances that are just as good, if not better, on the biggest stages. We're not talking, away against Fulham. We're talking big games, So yeah, I think the fact that he can play centre back if needed, but right back and CDM. That's an 80 million signing in its own because it's two positions. He's 24, maybe 25, so he's not even entering peak yet. He's an international, Brazilian international level. I think he's a great footballer. He's only going to get better. If you look at Fernandinho and the player that he became, Fabinho looks like he's halfway there already, and he's
That's a good shot. That's a good shot.
Yeah. So I am a big fan of him, and he's not very. He doesn't look very strong, but he is quite strong as well. He looks quite fit, skinny, but he's quite a strong person on the board as well.
Question just came in, but let me just say this real quick about Fabinho. It's not only that he can slide in those positions, but he can do it really good at a high level. There's no drop off. We didn't feel like, at least I did. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like we were really missing anything, and that is really good going forward. But Anfield Lark says German press apparently gave Robbo a 5 out of 6. In parentheses, he says where 6 is worse. What's that all about? What do we reckon? I think it was one of Robertson's worst games, in my opinion. Overall, I mean, obviously he did some things that were good. There were some moments where him and Trent were flip-flopping sides. He was okay. I think Gnabry probably had a better performance than I think a lot of people thought. He was kind of up and down too. I mean, there wasn't much that they offered, to be honest. Yeah. But I think Robertson, maybe not his worst. That might be a little bit harsh, but he definitely wasn't a high. He didn't get a high rating from me. What's your opinion about Robbo?
Yeah, I agree. I think we've definitely seen better from him. And I think we have to give props to Ganabi as well, because he was really impressive. I think he was their best attacking outlet. He did have Robertson kind of on his toes a little bit. He dropped his shoulder a lot on skills, and I think it's one of them. I'm not too sure what I can put my finger on it. But I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. If you're going to have 2-3 bad games a year, it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes when someone's very skillful, I think Robertson can get fooled by the step overs and the flip flops, but that will come with time. He's 23, 24. You know, he's gone from playing in a relegation battle to playing the best in the world, and he's had more good performances than bad at this highest level. You know,
and I think that's the key. We got to remember that.
Yeah. You look at the way he handled Sane in the Champions League 2 legs, and Ronaldo, and so I think it's no concern.
Yeah, I think I agree there. So as good as Fab was, and I tweeted about this, I think a bit has been overshadowed, and maybe because of Matip didn't have an excellent first half. He had some moments there, very shaky, almost had an own goal. But I think Matip was very, very good, especially playing up against Lewandowski. Some of those fouls that he did when he crossed midfield. I just think in general, I mean, to a guy like that, and let's be honest, people are putting him in top striker categories. When we talk about Suarez, Aguero, all the best strikers in the world. Lewandowski is always mentioned, if not at the forefront of that, in that group. You know, he's sitting at that table. So collectively, I'm just so proud of us being able to keep the clean sheet, not allow their informed players or best players, if you will, to really get much sniffs at the goal. I think the only person, like you said, Gnabry, and his shots were pretty much high and wide most of the time. So it was just really, really good. How are you feeling a day after? Or maybe let's talk to me. I mean, you were at the game. Tell me how you felt while you were in the stadium when you left. Did you feel like it was a chance missed, or do you feel like it's still in our control?
I felt like the first half, again, Sadio Mane, I love him to pieces, and I wouldn't stop him for more or less anyone in the world. But when he's missing in front of goal, and I'm hoping it doesn't mean anything. I'm hoping we snatch it away from home, and I do think we will. But there was 1 or 2 chances. There was the chance, obviously the overhead kick, it's going to be a hard technique, but it was very high and wide. But there was the other chance, when Naby kind of took a shot and then it fell to Mane.
He's got to finish that. He has got to finish that. And I don't know if he thought he was offsides or what, but I spoke about that in my video. He's got to finish that. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, so there's that. And then, do you remember right at the beginning when Henderson did a lovely pass to Salah and he got onto it on the volley?
Yep.
And I think it was straight at Neuer. So I felt like in the first half, I thought like, we're going to come in the second half and we'll probably get these guys 2-0 up. And we just kind of slowed down. And I think as the time went on, Liverpool became more concerned about conceding a last-minute away goal. That's how it felt. It felt like, okay, lads, it's not keeping the clean sheet's the priority for both teams. And when it got to 0-0 after about the 70th minute, I felt like, okay, we started to create less, we started to take less risks. But yeah, there is a bit of an issue. I think not an issue, but Mane and Salah. Salah's record in the big games hasn't been very good this year. It hasn't.
Yeah, and I spoke about that leading up to it. This is the stage where Salah has to produce. He has to find a way. On the Mane thing, the thing with Mane is that, and this is why we continue to have these conversations within the fan base about who we like better, who's better between Mane and Salah. The difference between Mane and Salah, to me lately especially, is that yes, Mane missed those chances, but he's still getting in those pockets. He's still making those chances exist, whether it's by himself or finding space, making nice runs, which I think is a very underrated part of his game, finding these runs, finding these avenues, finding these spaces for a Naby or Hendo or Gini to pick out. So, yes, he missed chances, and I'm definitely highly disappointed with him. I am. And I gotta, when I speak about other players, I gotta speak about Mane as well. But the thing I can say about Mane, not to make excuses, that he's still finding those spots, but he has to finish those. That's something he should be able to make in his sleep. So, again, there's lots of talk about their manager, Niko Kovac, or whatever his name is, having some kind of masterclass against us. And while I will say they played a very interesting style of game, very defensively, but in a really strange way. I think a lot of the situations we made hard on ourselves. How many times in that game, at least 12 to 15, where we had breakaways, whether it be Trent, Gini, whoever, Naby, and that final ball is just missing. And that's been happening so much this season. Just talk to me about that part of our game being so kind of omnipresent, and does that maybe worry you going into a game against United at Old Trafford.
It does. It does worry me. I don't know what it is, and everyone I speak to, Liverpool fans, we can't put our finger on it, but somewhere down the line, we seem to have not clicked into the gear that we clicked into last year. You know, where we'd start games off and we'd be 2-0 up in 25 minutes, and it was like attack, 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 and it's like everything we did worked for us. And Firmino, Salah, and Mane were on fire. You think about in the league, but you also think about the first half against Roma, the first half against City. We won most of our European games in the first 45 minutes at Anfield, or the first 45 minutes anywhere, even in Porto, like the first 45 minutes anywhere. And we keep saying it will come, it will come, it will come. And because our defense has been amazing, we've kind of we've done so well. You know, Salah popping up with the odd goal like Napoli, for instance, or recently it's been Mane, you know, 4 in a row. My worry now is when we do go to Germany away, you know, very experienced players, been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, they will be saying, we can beat this team by 2 goals. Going to Old Trafford, I think it needs to click. I think it needs, especially in the league, the way Man City are blowing away teams. You know, for some reason, I just cannot put my finger on it. I just don't know what it is. But we had Wijnaldum, Milner, and Henderson, which is way poorer than midfield with Naby and Fabinho and Endo or whatever. But I just don't know what it is. We just don't seem to make or score hardly as much goals. And we haven't scored away from home in Europe, except for a penalty, I think, which was Milner's penalty in France. So, whereas last year we scored 7-0 away twice, I think, or once at home, once away.
Yeah, it's worth bringing it up. Kind of the elephant in the room. These breaks away that Klopp takes the team on. Are you believe in the narrative or the idea that that's what's keeping us from getting these results? That's twice now coming back from a break. I can't remember which one is longer. But one Dubai, one Spain.
Yeah.
Do you think that has anything to do with us playing? They asked Klopp in the press, and he was saying we'll have to see. So if we play well, then maybe it didn't. If we didn't, then maybe it did affect us. So just talk to me about that. Your honest opinion about these breaks, and if that's somehow breaking up our rhythm, the way we're looking, the way we're playing, things of that nature.
It's a good point. It was brought up yesterday before the game in one of the pubs. Some people were saying, "Yeah, I'm not for it." You know. Would you rather the momentum that Man City are doing instead of going to Marbella and playing football tennis, you know, they're playing in the League Cup and winning 7-8-0? Would that benefit us more? Or if it's not, maybe just stay in Liverpool, let the guys have 2 nights off with their partners and do some light training in Melwood. I'm not sure if they need to go abroad. Players seem to be coming back not feeling too well. You know, maybe the change in temperature, the change in time. I'd probably say I'm not for it. I think it's good for bonding. It's good for bonding and stuff like that, activity-based wise. But I just think on pure football, I don't think we need to. I don't feel like we need to. Why are we going abroad? Like I just don't know. I don't know. But I don't know if we're just looking for excuses either. I'm not sure really. What do you think?
A little bit of both. I think it's easy to throw that in there, especially because it's happened so often, especially of recent memory, coming back and then playing West Ham and Leicester and not getting results that we wanted. But we have to remember that neither one of those were losses, nor was this one. So it's easy to say that because we and I think Klopp responded. Let me say something real quick about what Anfield Lark said. He said take them to Scotland next time. I think it's funny but true. Might as well stay in a cold climate. It makes no sense to go. I don't know how warm or cold it was in Spain, but I'm sure it was nowhere near what it was in England. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of excuse making, but also there could be some truth there.
Good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, I know Klopp and his presser said that he didn't think that had anything to do with those final balls, and I agree. I mean, you can't really. That's why it's hard for me to really go 100% with that narrative, because is it them going away that kept them from making that final pass? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. So I think the boys have it within them. They have to do better at that. And we're saying all this, yet we're in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Everything to play for. We're first in the league. Well, on goal difference or whatever. I mean, the goal difference. The goal difference. We're second. But I mean, we're having a fantastic season. I'm not saying that half-heartedly. So. But I think it's natural to be somewhat disappointed that, that was a pretty golden opportunity and the chances were there. It'd be different if we didn't make any chances. And I know the stats say only 2 shots on target, but there were so many quote unquote chances, opportunities that we could have made better usage of and we didn't. So that's frustrating. But going to the Allianz, I think I'm feeling very confident. Knowing that we have Van Dijk, knowing that they have Kimmich, who'll be suspended. But our away form, as you brought up earlier, hasn't been great in the Champions League. Does that give you any reason to pause or feel, I don't want to say doubt, but maybe worried a bit?
Yeah, honestly, it does a little bit. I'm not disappointed with the result. Like you said, I really believe we created that many chances against Bayern, who were happy to sit back. How many more chances will we be able to create when they attack us? So I think we are. I think we're still the favourites. Rio Ferdinand said last night after the game, I watched it on catch up. He said, I think Liverpool are still the favourites. It works for them. They need one goal and they're more or less through. And who the hell wants to go against Liverpool to score? And I do think last year, if you look at the Champions League, I feel like we took it up a gear when we got into the knockouts. We went up a gear. I think, in the group stage, our first few games were draws. We had 3-3 and stuff like that. So I do think we'll go through, but I am concerned. I am worried that we might underestimate these Bayern. They only need a glimpse of a chance. They're at home. I think they've only lost 2 games at home, something like that. I'm not sure. But they concede goals, and I think we'll be the better team, the stronger side. But I am worried about our scoring away in Europe. Like the performance against Red Star and Napoli, they were very poor games.
Yeah. They were very poor games. I think. Let's talk about Naby. Going up against an old foe, much like Jurgen Klopp, and I guess Matip to a degree. I thought he looked really good in certain moments. There's still these situations where he'll have these moments where he's looking good. He might give the ball away or get it plucked from him. Overall, what did you think about his performance? I think he's another guy, much like Robertson, who kind of is split throughout the fan base. Some people who think Robertson was, at a 7 or 8 level. There's some people that think that he was at a 5 or 6. Some people that think Naby, same thing. Just tell me, just overall, what do you think about Naby's performance in that game?
I think it's my thoughts on Naby's game are really my thoughts on Naby's Liverpool career so far. He shows some amazing glimpse of raw talent. Every time he's in a tight space, he gets out of it. He kind of drops a shoulder, creates a chance. He does some superb stuff, and you can see that there's a lot of talent there, talent that can't be learned. You can't learn what he possesses at such a young age, and I do think we need to be just work with him. And next year will be his year. I said it, as you know, on my Instagram. I said next year will be his year. But also saying that, I think we are lacking a midfielder that can grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think we kind of were looking at Naby to be that guy, to maybe power in a 30-yarder, create something out of nothing. Ox kind of did it last year when Coutinho left.
Naby was trying, though. Naby was trying with those shots. Some of them were getting ricocheted and blocked, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, he was trying, which is a good sign of confidence, and it's a sign that it's coming. It's whether we can stick with someone that right this moment in time. The thing is, we have no other options. Like, there's no other option, really.
Yeah.
If Ox was fit, then I would be saying, Ox would have maybe done this or done that. But without Ox, what are we saying? Lallana, it doesn't make sense. So I think it will come. Yeah, I think it will come. I'm not divided on him. I'm a fan of Naby, and I wanted Naby in my lineup. And I definitely want Naby at Old Trafford starting.
Yeah, we're going to get to that because we're going to talk about that midfield. But, I agree. I think Naby is continuing to he's getting there. And I keep saying that week after week. And I think each week, or each game, I should say, he's showing me a little bit more. And I think for me, it was slightly because, again, here's the thing. Yeah, he was giving the ball away and things like that. But the passes he was trying were sometimes kind of risky, hard, high level passes. And that's going to happen. And so you want to see that positive movement. I think, once again, this is my opinion, Klopp bringing him off of Milner was a head scratcher. I'm sorry. And I think it gets to the point for me in games where Klopp is just satisfied with, let's set up, let's just take the draw. Which, okay, that's cool, especially in the situation, knowing, but I just feel like Naby was one of the most progressive guys on the team as far as going forward. I just feel like, I don't know, that was a bit cringy to see him come off. I don't know how you feel about that, though.
I agree. I think Klopp, this is back to what I was saying before about the whole team kind of said, okay, you know, a clean sheet will do. You know, we'll batter them. We'll take our chances towards the end of the game. But, you know, and I think that's why he brought Milner on. He brought Milner on because he's Mr. Safe. He's Mr. But I don't think Naby should be hooked off because, you know, he just seems like the only player that in that midfield that was going to score or has that bit of magic in him. You know, I love how he drops his shoulder and then he can lob the ball over another defender into the pathway of Mane and Salah. Milner's not going to do that. Do you know what I mean? Milner's not going to beat a player and look for a pass forward. Milner's going to grab the ball, slow the game down and maybe pass backwards to Matip or pass out wide to Robertson or Trent. Whereas Keita's always looking to go forward. And I think we should. I think if this was the second leg with 0-0, 20 minutes to play, I think you keep Naby on. You with me? But yeah. I think I agree exactly what he said. Klopp went to shut up shop. Rather than bring on someone like Shaqiri, he thought, okay, Milner, you come on, you do your job. You know, just be another engine, be another bull terrier, just like Henderson, and don't let them pass. And time, you know.
Yeah, and for Lark says 1 win in 5 isn't title winning form right now. No excuses in this run-in. I want to see blood and thunder from all of them. Show us they are top athletes. Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with that. But I'm happy where we are. Again, I think, and not that Anfield Lark falls under this umbrella, but I think people are being a bit too panicky, a bit too paranoid, which I think some of that is natural. You can understand it, but you know, again, it's all in our hands. And if we go to Allianz and take care of business there, I mean, obviously the away goals is huge. So we score a couple of goals, and it's probably in our pocket, and we can move on. So let's move on to United. And the thing that I'm concerned about, I think probably a few people are, is the midfield. Now I'm wondering, I don't know if Lovren will be healthy. But let's just talk about that for a second, because
Lovren's out.
Oh, he's definitely out for United game.
I read this morning that
God.
Press conference. Okay. Yeah, something like that. He's definitely out, I think.
So is it me, or does it feel like Klopp is going to go with the Brexit +1, the +1 being Gini Wijnaldum? I mean, come on. Like, he loves going back to, at some point, we haven't seen the end of that. I'll say that. Maybe not this game. I'm hoping not this game. But I got a feeling it's going to be Milner, Hendo, and Gini. Talk to me, man.
I really, really don't want to see Milner in the starting 11. Klopp, I feel like now this is the biggest game of the season, probably.
You could be right. You could be right on that, man.
Even if we, and I'm not saying it's because if we lose on Sunday, we're out of the title race. But
right.
If we lose on Sunday, the confidence that will give City to then go on, everyone. This is our game in hand. You know, we can't keep saying, "Oh, we've got a game in hand." We got people around me in England who keep saying, "You're acting like a game in hand is an automatic 3 points." It's not, and it happens to be at Old Trafford as well. So, if I was Klopp, I'd want to go there and win the game in half an hour. You know, clean up and go with this beautiful attacking flair, which would be, for me, it would be Fabinho, Naby Keita, and Wijnaldum. Easy. And the only drop I don't mind is Fabinho into centre back, maybe. Because no, Virgil's there. No, sorry, I got.
You know what? I almost forgot that too. Forgot that too.
Virgil, that's superb. So now I don't want the Brexit midfield. I want Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Naby. I don't mind if someone has to come in. Hendo, okay, but I'd rather not. But I definitely don't want to see Milner starting. It doesn't make sense. We need to win. We're not, we need to win this.
Yeah, this is definitely more of a must-win than the first leg against Bayern.
Definitely. I would take a 1-0 loss to Bayern if it means a 1-0 win at Old Trafford all day long.
Oh, yeah, all day. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think, let's all be honest. I mean, I think whether some of us are like, oh, I want to win everything, I think most of us are saying that the league is where it's at. And there's this whole phrase of, you know, if we get knocked out of Champions League and it means we win the league, I'll be fine. There was a comment earlier about Matip and him being a concern for some people against United, and I was assuming maybe it was the pace that United could present. Do you worry about Matip, or are you kind of like me thinking that in this recent stretch, especially next to Van Dijk, he's been pretty good and improved in some areas? What's your thoughts on Matip against United?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, alongside Virgil, there's no real reason to worry against Man United. We're talking about no Martial and no Lingard, it seems. So what pace? Just Rashford. You know, there's no Rashford. We've got Virgil. We've got Trent. We've got Robertson. We're not going against Sane, Sterling, and Aguero. Do you know what I mean? We're going against probably Mata, Sanchez out wide with Mata, and then probably Rashford. That's. I don't think we should be concerned. For me, it's Pogba. Pogba will be the concern, but we can get onto that. But yeah, I don't worry about Matip. I think Matip's he's not world class or anything, but you know, alongside Virgil, I don't think we should be too concerned. I'd rather Matip over Lovren, put it that way.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Paul, because that was going to be the next topic that Mercy in the comment section brought up. He says, "Does Paul worry you?" I'll let you start with that.
Yeah, Paul Pogba definitely worries me. I think he's on form. He's the best midfielder in the league, and by form, I don't mean the last 4 or 5 games. The last 2-3 months since Ollie's come in. Not only he's got a shout for world in the world. You look at what De Bruyne was doing last year, and people were calling him the best. Pogba is creating goals, he's scoring goals, he's hard to win the ball off, he's got skill, he's strong, he can fairly tackle, he's everywhere.
Fam, he's putting up number 9 numbers right now, like striker numbers. Like, come on, like you got to give it to him.
Definitely. And so I think that's why it's so important that we have our, as we call it, our midfield, black excellence on strong, quick, powerful midfielders, because I just don't think Pogba will be able to do that with Fabinho and with Wijnaldum and Keita around him, working alongside each other. He ain't got that type of. He's not Zinedine Zidane or Ronaldinho. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
My issue with Pogba is, except for Man City away, second half a year or 2 ago, I think it was last year, he doesn't always step up in the big games. He doesn't, and that's why you cannot compare him to Lamps or Gerrard or Scholes.
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, he does not grab games by the score for the neck and puts it in from 35 yards. At Liverpool, in Europe, you know, except for the City game, he hasn't done it. So part of me thinks, you know, he's got a point to prove. He knows he's got a point to prove. Because against PSG, I'm not being funny, but Verratti was all over the place. Verratti had him up. Probably hence he got the red card. So I am worried about him, because if he gets a glimpse of a chance, he'll probably take it, or he'll find the space to find Rashford. But I just feel like his record against the big teams isn't that good, and we need to run with that. And I just feel like Man United are probably more nervous of us than we are of them. You know, we're top of the league. You know, they're the ones that just got knocked out by PSG, and we beat PSG at home, so we should be more confident.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Tottenham.
Yeah.
So, my thing on Pogba, as much as what you said, and I think Mercy here in the comment section was saying, I think Pogba is probably the best midfielder, especially when he's on form, probably in the world. What he does, what he's able to do, what he's capable of doing to a team. The thing with him is just that the consistency and if he's always ready to step up. Now, under this Solskjaer guy, he's been looking really good. He's been looking really. He's looking like the Pogba that we all knew he could be. You know what I mean? That unfortunately he wasn't really showing. Unfortunately for United, but on Pogba is a big deal. Now, my question for you is he a guy that you know, put your manager shoes on? Put yourself in Klopp's shoes. Are you telling Fab to single him out and just man mark him all game? Do you think it's a collective thing? Like, what do you think is the best way to keep Pogba from enjoying his football?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm probably gonna. The thing is, if I don't know, if you get Fabinho to follow him, he will take Fabinho all over the pitch, out of position.
Right.
That's my only issue, because Pogba is allowed to. Pogba kind of does what Coutinho kind of did at Liverpool. He just floats around the midfield.
Roams around,
You know, he just pings it out wide, then he'll just take a shot, he'll dummy, drop a shoulder, and I don't know whether to say. I don't know whether the best thing to say collectively, all three of them, whoever's closest to him at the time, you know, get right behind him. And Wijnaldum, I think, is just as strong as him, just as quick as him, and just as good as agility as him. What Wijnaldum doesn't maybe have is maybe the end product.
That's a good point.
Which is a very good footballer. I do think all around he is. You know, he's a very good. We've seen the kick-ups in the middle of the park and his energy, and same with Naby. So I think we'll win. You know, I think we'll win well. I think we can keep him out of the game. Another thing is, give him an early foul, foul him early on, don't get the yellow, but let him know that, you know, because I don't think he likes that. I don't think he's that good against strong defensive-minded midfielders.
Yeah, and to be the big lad that he is, that's kind of surprising. I mean, I've been some times when he's gotten stuck in some off-the-ball stuff. He doesn't really seem necessarily soft, but if you check him a few times, then I think that's what Mercy was saying. You know, get aggressive with him.
Yep.
Try to get him sent off. But yeah, I think that is definitely going to be the key in their game. Now, remind me again, who's injured for them or allegedly injured for them?
So Lingard and Martial are both allegedly
Okay,
out.
so nothing's for sure yet, right?
Nothing's 100%.
Okay.
I even think it could be a little bit of mind games, because
Yeah.
niggles. They weren't like they didn't come off on stretchers and all of that. And it said 2 to 3 weeks could be out for Liverpool. So maybe it's a tactic so that we train all week in a certain way and then boom on the morning, Sunday morning they're both fit. But apparently, them two are both out, Martial and Lingard, which I think is good. It changes things because Sanchez and Mata is a massive drop.
Sanchez is done, but Mata has some pretty decent games against us in recent history.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, all day I would take him and Sanchez over Lingard and Martial all day. Rashford's been having a pretty decent kind of stretch with the new manager, so it's always going to be a big game. I think this could go down as one of the biggest ones in our history for as long as I can remember. It's going to be a heavyweight bout, and I think Liverpool have got to, if we play like we did against Bayern with a better finishing product, I think we can have a field day. But if we don't, we can really, really struggle with them. We know who they have in goal. Their defense has looked even slightly improved, which is shocking to me. But I just think Liverpool can get the best of them. To me, it doesn't matter what the score is as long as we get the win. That's all that really matters. So we're gonna be.
On if it ended 2-2, would that definitely?
Yeah, frustrating for sure. Because again, all we've been hearing, you said this earlier, is game in hand. And I'm gonna just say this: almost, as far as I can remember, almost every time we had this opportunity, whether it be City just lost, and I don't really think too much about City, but just going on narrative, people say, "Oh, Newcastle just did us a great job, Rafa, yay." And then we blew it. Well, I don't want to say blew it, but we didn't really take full advantage of that. So every time we turn around, Liverpool have a chance to do it, and it's like we're not doing it. So I don't want to say that kind of clouds my feeling towards this, because I think we will win, and that's always how I feel. But the draw, it would hurt, man. It would hurt because
definitely,
again,
bro. Definitely,
City are fucking on a different fucking planet with these goals, man. And it was like at some point we caught up to them, and now they just did it again. It's ridiculous. So I don't want this situation to go down to the last game of the season.
No,
and we both have the same amount of points, and they win it based on the fucking goal difference. That's what I don't want. So, James, we got to win this game. As simple as that. There's no other way to look at it. There's no other way to look at it. I mean, obviously, if we draw, it's not the end of the world. But I'm tired of saying that, and I mean, the more we continue to say that, at some point, it's going to feel like it is the end of the world. And so,
I agree with you. I agree.
I mean, obviously, the season, you can't just say, "Oh, it's over," but it would be really, really difficult. Now, I've said this before, and I'm not changing my tune. I think City will drop points again. When that happens, I don't know. I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like. Do they have to play United again, or are they done playing United? I don't know.
No. They've got to go to Old Trafford.
Okay. So I mean,
look. There's no confirmation on the date. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were meant to play. I think they were meant to play in the FA Cup round, and then it got clashed. So now it's TBC, to be continued, to be confirmed.
Oh, okay.
That's a good thing. That can only be a good thing for Liverpool, because Man City, they don't know where the biggest game of the season is. Is it?
Yeah.
If that happens to be, can you imagine if that's their last game of the season? It's going to be midweek. We know that it's going to be midweek.
Oh, that's a possibility.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure all the weekends are now taken up. FA Cup and Premier League. I'm pretty sure international break. So
that's big. Yeah,
most likely it will be a Wednesday night. Man City could be in the Champions League semi-finals, going to the Nou Camp, then they're coming back and they're going to Old Trafford. And that is why, personally, I want Man City to do well in Europe. I don't want them to win it, but I'm all for them to make it to the semis or final, because that will only encourage them to drop points in the league. They want the Champions League. They want it.
So you do believe that? You do believe if the further they go in Champions League, the worse they'll do in the league? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I just feel, although they've got the best depth in world football, I honestly think, find me a bench. Barcelona,
you know what? You might be right on that. Damn.
Yeah.
I ain't thought about that.
Juventus, you go find me Gundogan, Mahrez, Jesus, Company, Otamendi. Their bench is incredible. We're talking like they've got international starters on their bench, 70 million players on their bench. But I generally think if Pep had an interview this week, or maybe it was this morning actually, or yesterday, and they said to Pep, you only won the Champions League with Barca because of Messi, Iniesta, and Xavi. And he turned around and said, yeah, he didn't deny it. He said, yeah, they were amazing footballers. Man City's amazing. Bayern Munich's amazing, but they were amazing. He knows he will be judged on winning Europe. His time, you know, many fans want the League of City now, Pellegrini and whatnot. The fans have never won the Champions League. No manager has. He knows. They went out and bought Mahrez for 75 million, not to win the league again, to win Europe. That's what they will want. And I'm not saying they'll drop the Premier League, but if they're going to, I don't know, I'm making up the fixtures. If they're going to Everton away, although I know they've done that fixture in late April, and they're going to Juventus away the same week, Raheem Sterling, Sane, Jesus, they're going to have all their eyes on the Champions League. So many of their players haven't won it. I don't think De Bruyne's won it. I don't think Sergio Aguero's won it. I know for a fact Vincent Kompany ain't won it, because he said the other day in an interview, his career's not done until he wins the Champions League. He cannot be compared to Rio and Terry and all these centre-backs until he wins Europe. So
yeah,
I want them to go, and I said at the beginning of the season, if you remember on chat, that I want them to go as far as they can.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a possibility if there's because again, I think Pep's thing now for his career has to be to get at least one more Champions League, at least one more.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it with Bayern, and they had one of the best teams in Europe as well. So yeah, I agree with that. But like I said, Liverpool have to be there and ready for these situations. You know, if and when City drop points, we have to make sure we capitalize. You know what I mean? And Tottenham. I mean, I don't really believe Tottenham's going to do much, but besides, you know, get top four. But they're still hanging around. They're still. Well, my thoughts are, wow. I mean, how are they still doing this? I mean, in Europe without two of their best players in the league. I mean, and yeah, some of them are by hook or by crook, but they're getting it done. So that's surprising to me, man. I can't believe that they're still keeping pace to a degree with the other top teams. So I don't know what they even make of that, man. I think getting Son back for them at that time was big. You know, him coming back from the Asian games or whatever it was really, really big for them. But they're finding a way. They're finding a way somehow. But I mean, I just think at some point they'll fall away. But who knows? Maybe this is their season to really, really show, you know, the improvement that they've made on a different level with Poach. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still counting them out, but you know, I mean, they proved me wrong almost every game. You know, like I said, Dortmund are a young team, and you kind of thought at some point they would show some of their weaknesses, but to handle them that way like they did is pretty big for Spurs. So
they've got to come to Anfield as well.
Yeah, we know how that. Say it again.
They've got to go to Etihad as well.
Yeah, no, they got a difficult. Yeah, they got a difficult. Oh, they both of those away for them. Wow.
Yeah, both of them are away. So
yeah, so it's gonna be, man. It doesn't get any easier for us, man. Seriously, almost every game. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's so true. Every game is kind of like a final. Yeah. And we have got to get max points out of all of them. It's a tall task. It's not going to be easy, but I think Liverpool have enough to do it. In closing, I'm kind of going all around the way, but this is something I really want to talk to you about because it's getting to be really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
Beyond Virgil van Dijk, we have serious injury issues with our center backs. Yeah. And unfortunately, Gomez, we have to throw him to that conversation. And it's really unfortunate for him. 2 serious injuries that keep him out of seasons. I think the last one was probably worse than this. But again, he has to get surgery, and I think we have to put him in that category. But Matip can't stay fit. You know, Lovren's never going to play a whole season. So that really worries me. And as much as I like all 3 of those guys for different situations, especially Gomez, I thought he could be a really good partner for Van Dijk for years to come. Yeah. I think that's a position that we have to go in the window again. I think we do, and maybe spend a bit of money. So I want to know your opinion on that, and if you have anyone in mind that we could get, or if you even agree with me. Do you just think maybe it's just a situation, a circumstance that happens, or do you think we do have some injury issues at the center back?
No, I agree with you. I think we do. I think Lovren's not good enough anyway.
Okay.
And Matip's made out of glass. I think Matip gets injured every season. He gets injured, niggled. Yeah. And Gomez, like you, I am a massive fan of Gomez. You know,
yeah, it's unfair, man.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Rio Ferdinand, but he said, you know, Gomez and Virgil van Dijk, if they continue this for the next 2-3 years, they could be up there with some of the greatest partnerships we've ever seen. You know,
they still could be, but yeah, I don't know.
Campbell and Company, or Vidic and Rio, or Carvalho and John Terry. That's what they could be. Because they complement each other so well. One's strong and high, one's ball playing and quick. But we have to be honest. Gomez's injury record is heroic. I read the other day his ratio is at 12 Premier League games a season for Liverpool. Because of these nasty injuries he's had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he missed the World Cup. It would have been a big World Cup for him. You know, I would have loved him to have gone. And then he's now missing more or less the whole half the season. So I feel like Gomez has one more proper chance in him, you know, and it is a bit harsh, but I just feel like I don't know. We need to go out and get someone.
Yeah, I think that the writing's on the wall. I mean, as much as I love Gomez, and I don't want him to get discouraged and think that because we're getting one, that Klopp's just put him to the side. But either one of Lovren and Matip have to go, I would imagine, right? I mean, if we're gonna make space for another center back, one of them have to go, or you keep him because every season we got guys. I mean, and it's people that can, it's easy to say now we should have kept Klopp on, but that seems more true to me than even the Kleine thing, in my opinion, because. You've been with Lovren and Matip long enough. You know neither of them can stay fit. Lovren's tucked up in a blanket at Anfield. It's just like, why is he always sick or injured? He cannot play 10 games straight without getting an injury, and you can't afford that. But what Liverpool's trying to do under Klopp, we cannot afford these guys falling down all the time. We can't.
No, I agree. I think you need, like you said, I think teams need 3 very good centre backs. Teams to compete at the highest level, which is what we are, and then 1 decent centre back. So, we get rid of Lovren, and I'd like to splash 50, 60 mil upwards on someone.
At least.
Yeah, dream would be Kalulabai.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that is realistic? Do you think Liverpool could?
I think it's definitely realistic. I think especially depending on what we do this season, but you can see every year players have to be looking at Liverpool. I mean, yeah, you can say, what's the guy from Dortmund that went to Chelsea? That kid, the young guy.
American kid.
Pulisic,
yeah.
But I think Liverpool definitely have that pulling power. And they see the way we play, and they see, especially if they feel like I can be that missing piece. If you tell me Koulibaly's not looking at us thinking, and he gets the chance thinking, you know what, play next to Van Dijk, I got to do that. He's got Mane here, his international teammate. They're probably really close.
Yeah.
So, I mean, plus it would add to the African contingent, which wouldn't be a bad thing. So I think it's definitely realistic. Will it happen? Probably not. And I say probably not because he's going to have to pick of the litter. I mean, next season, I don't think he'll be at Napoli. And
so where do you choose over us?
I don't even know if it's a choose over us situation. I just think if he's confident, I think he obviously is like a confident football player. If he's under the idea that I can come there and be the guy next to Van Dijk, then I think he does it. But maybe he's thinking, Gomez is really good. Will I really be guaranteed? I mean, Klopp is one of them guys where it's very few guys that, are like, Firmino is guaranteed a spot. Van Dijk is guaranteed a spot. The keeper is guaranteed a spot. Salah, you can say, Mane. Other than that, you just don't really know. So, I mean, again, I just say that because I'm not 100% sure that he'll pick us, because he'll have the pick of the litter. Maybe he wants to go to Juventus. They'll be in form. Maybe he wants to stay in Italy. I don't know. But I think if there are a gang of teams that want to get him, I think we'll be in the top 5 of his mind. And it'll just be down to narrowing it down to who he picks. If it's Bayern, whoever, United even might be in that group. I don't know. So I think it's definitely realistic. But I think honestly, the way Michael Edwards and Klopp have been working, I'm not too concerned with who they go with. I know it'll be somebody that will work for us, and maybe it'll be a surprise. Maybe a center back we're not thinking about, but when we get him, we're thinking, oh, okay, that's a good choice as well. So, yes, my number one choice would clearly be Koulibaly, and I think we do that, and oh my God, I mean, we're probably set for a while.
Yeah.
Especially defensively. So,
how old is he? Is he 28? Something like that.
Who's that? Koulibaly.
Yeah, I'm just checking. He's 27.
Sure.
So
he's 27. Damn. Okay.
He's going into his peak. So
yeah. He's gonna want to make a move soon. I didn't realize he was that old. Well, it's not old, but I thought he was at least maybe 25, 26. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting news. And then lastly, I guess I don't want to keep you too much longer, but the keeper. There's been some comments in the section about the keeper, him kind of doing too much and being kind of sloppy on his knee too. Say again.
I'm happy you brought Alisson up. Yeah.
Yeah, just talk to me about that. I guess it's a silly question to ask you if it bothers you, if it worries you, because anything like that would. But is it to the degree where you're, too concerned with him in general, or do you feel like, look, you get certain players and that comes with it. Not to compare him to Van Dijk, but I think Van Dijk, he's so calm and cool that sometimes it's like, ugh, you might cause it, and it's very far and few between. But I think with Alisson, it's the same thing. You know what he comes with, and so you kind of accept it, or yeah. Just tell me what you feel about Alisson in general.
I feel, yeah, he does have these shaky moments, and for me, these shaky moments, like you said, they're not questioning his ability. It's not like he's making mistakes like carriers. These are over oozing of confidence.
Yeah.
And, I get what he's doing. He's trying to start the attack as quick. He's trying to almost start as a centre back and get the ball and throw it out. And sometimes I think he's inviting pressure on our defenders who aren't really ready for that. Or yesterday he threw the ball out and one of the best strikers in world football was right behind the defender. What are you doing?
Yeah.
In Italy, he used to take a lot more chances. He took one against Leicester and then they scored it earlier on the season. So he said afterwards in an interview that it won't happen again. One mistake and you learn. But I'm not nervous. And I like it, to be honest. I do like it. I do like the Brazilian type of ball-playing goalkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's not like boring English kind of goalkeepers that just hit as far as they can and hope for the best. I do like it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Say again. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll finish when you.
Yeah, I just think he needs to be wary that it could cost us. I don't do it against Man United, or it will come with time. It will come with time, I guess. I'm surprised Klopp isn't. I wonder what Klopp thinks about it, to be honest.
Honestly, my opinion is Klopp thinks how I think, and most of us think it's like, well, maybe not most of it, but definitely how I think, and that's, I paid money for this keeper who I know has this in his game. Let's just hope that, because if it was something that Klopp was really on him, I think he'd stop doing it. You know what I mean? And he's still doing it here. Now he's curtailed it a bit, but it's in him. You can't knock that from him. That's who he is. That's what kind of player he is. So you kind of got to take the good with the bad. I don't think it's that big a deal. And here's the thing: it's not like Karius who's doing stuff like that out of being, lacking confidence or scared or whatever. No, he's doing it because he is confident, but also he can make a mistake. So listen, I mean, at the end of the day, it's easy to critique it, and I don't think people should stop doing that. That's fine. But am I too concerned about it? No. I know he did it against Leicester early in the season. It did cost us a goal, but you just gotta, with Alisson, man, he's that maverick dude. You gotta just hope that it doesn't cost us. And I think by and large, I feel comfortable that it won't. Especially in a big game like Bayern. Can you imagine that happen? Oh my God, social media would have been uproar. So I'm glad it didn't. But I mean, he's gotta just keep a little bit of that, to the side. I think as much as he can. I mean, he's a smart keeper, and I think that was another thing that people aren't talking about. Without Van Dijk, we needed Alisson to be better than he was in those moments for sure, but also that commanding figure, very, very vocal. He's been very vocal back there, and so that's good. Hopefully, that means his English is getting better, whatever the case may be. But he's been very vocal back there, and we needed that, not having Van Dijk. Big game, man. We all know it. It's Sunday.
Yeah, what do you think about? Just quickly, what are your thoughts on our strikers? So Origi seems Origi seems to have taken Sturridge's position as the kind of.
How do you feel about that, honestly?
I'm not too sure. I get why, and I'm not. This is why I'm not sure. So
you don't think Origi's been better when he's come on though?
Yeah, I think he worked harder. I think he worked.
Yeah.
And Origi is willing to kind of swap wings and kind of interlink with Salah and Mane. He's quicker now and stuff. But do I think Sturridge is more likely to score a winner in the last 10 minutes? That's where I'm torn. You look at the chance at West Ham, last kick of the game when Naby's beating a player and flicked the ball over the defender, and Origi scruffed the volley. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I feel like Sturridge, it would have been on the Sturridge's left. Would Sturridge have scruffed it? So I'm not too sure what I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't thinking about that, but that's a good point.
I think both of them aren't good enough, but we'll get onto that in a minute. What do you think, Sturridge or Origi?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's funny. Like almost every time we bring something up, they're actually discussing the same thing in the comment section. So, yeah, the striker situation is look, at some point, and I get it how important Firmino is, but at some point we have to bring someone. I think Klopp's been able to get away with, because everybody would say, well, Sturridge is, he's got the injury issue, so you don't mind having a guy of that caliber on the bench. But at some point, you got to bring someone else in there who's as good as Firmino, or honestly better, because and for a lot of reasons, you got to give teams different looks. You want to give, your formation a different look, and also you want to give Firmino a fucking rest. Let's be honest; he plays way too many games. I think him coming off last night had to do with probably him still carrying some of that virus, and also just keeping him safe for United. But I want to see a different dynamic. Switching Salah to that leading striker is one thing, and it works from time to time. But come on, like, it'd be nice to have somebody different in there. So, yeah, I mean, between the Origi Sturridge thing, honestly, man, I love Sturridge, but I just think it's Sturridge his time at Liverpool has come to an end. I mean, I think there's still a run for him to maybe help us in this season. And let's be real, if nothing, I'll always love him for a lot of things. But that goal that he scored against Chelsea, it felt like a win. And at the time, on that undefeated run, it was good to see him get there. And both of them have that moment, right? That'll go down in history. Probably Origi a bit more because it was Everton, but they both have definitely helped this season, whether you want to admit that or not. So, but moving forward, it's just neither one of them really give it. If one of them are coming on, I'm thinking like a Hail Mary situation. We might get a long distance shot, or maybe Origi for a set piece because of his height, but you're never really thinking these guys are going to change the game for sure. Shaqiri maybe. But I don't think anyone's thinking Origi or Sturridge are going to definitely make a change. That's just me. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Would you have brought Shaqiri on instead?
Was he on the bench?
I'm not sure.
If he was on the bench, I don't know why the fuck we didn't do that. But no, I mean, again, I think Origi, in my opinion, when he's come on, he's looked really fresh, man, quick. Whereas I think just the last season, well, no, I think Origi's been pretty good in general for us, man. I think he might have had some moment where he went off to Germany. Origi's been pretty good for us. I think he's kind of gotten a rough way to go here and there. But he's been looking really good when he's come on, quick, fast, smart. And that's what you need, especially if you're taking Firmino off. You need somebody that's going to give you something different. Not to say Firmino is slow, or Firmino's game is just different than Origi. And so I liked bringing him on. The only such substitution that bothered me was the Milner one. We already talked about that. But no, I think that's another position that we must look at, and not just look at. I think we really need to consider going after someone in the summer. Center back, attacking mid. Attacking mid wouldn't be bad, I guess. Another midfielder, one way or another, and then also a striking guy. Because go ahead.
Yeah, and sorry, go on, finish.
Yeah. I mean, I just think. I mean, you can say the same thing for the wingers too, because again, besides Shaqiri, and this is so funny because when the season started, we were all talking about how good our bench looks, and it's just like now I'm thinking, does it really look that good? I mean, does Lallana really inspire any kind of belief or confidence? I mean, really, and I don't mean to be harsh to Lallana, but he's a shell of what he was that one season he had under Klopp. So, I think even wingers. I mean,
Harry Wilson is what I was going to ask you.
Honestly, James, I don't know if he's good enough for Liverpool, but I don't mean to be harsh on the young dude.
I've heard a few people say that, to be honest.
I don't know, man. I mean, listen, he's been having a good season. Where he's at? Where is he at, by the way? Is it Derby?
Derby, yeah.
So I mean, that's cool, and I think that's really good for him, his family, his growth. That's great. Can he translate that to Liverpool? I just can't say I'm sure of that. I mean, I'll be happy to eat humble pie, whatever the saying is, if he is good. But you're asking me a question, and my answer is I just don't know if he's that good for Liverpool. Yeah. What do you think? Somebody say Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson's a good shout as a striker. Yeah, so we'll answer. We'll answer the winger and then we'll go on to the striker then.
Okay.
Harry Wilson, I think he's done enough to warrant one season chance. When he was younger, he was the one that was breaking the records, not Woodburn. Like Wilson was getting like 20-odd goals in the under 19s or 21s, and I was always saying like this Wilson kid, he's breaking records that have stood since like Michael Owen and Raheem Sterling, and he was never getting his chance. And and then he went on loan last year for the last 6 months, was really good. And then he's gone on loan to Derby, and all the hype was around it. And let's not forget, if he was English, there'd be a lot more hype around him. It's the same with Robertson. Because they're Welsh and Scottish, people don't have this same hype around.
And that's fair. That's a fair point.
Players. So there's a kid called Mason Mount from Chelsea. Now, he went to Derby as well. All the hype was around Mason Mount. He's going to be a world beater for England. He's Chelsea's new Lampard, etc., etc. Harry Wilson has been their saviour. And a couple of my friends that watch a lot of Championship football, because they're obviously I live in Birmingham, so Blues and Aston Villa, they have said that Harry Wilson always looks like a Premier League player playing in the Championship. He does look good. He always wants the ball. You know, he's got a rocket of a left foot. And they were saying at this moment in time, you'd rather Harry Wilson come on than Adam Lallana. You know, you've got 20 minutes.
That's a shout. Yeah.
You've got 20 minutes to go against West Ham. Or we started Lallana at West Ham. Would I rather Harry Wilson come on with half an hour to go? I probably would. He's a bit
that's a different. Yeah, I definitely would.
You know what I mean? So my thing with him, I'm not saying, oh yeah, he's going to be a world beater for Liverpool. Give him the number 11. I'm saying I think he deserves a season chance. We've given
no doubt. We've given far worse season chance. So
Gordon Ibe, you know, Solanke.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
You know, we're still giving Lallana chances. You know, we've given Origi a second chance. We've given Sturridge season after season. I would like to bring him back.
I think Klopp's definitely going to do that. I'm not even concerned. I think he's definitely that's already written in stone. Like he's definitely coming back now. Will he, you know, catapult? I hope so. I don't want to wish negative against him. I just don't think he will, but I'm happy to be wrong. You know, and I think, like you said, give him a chance. Who knows? I mean, if anything, he could be a set piece specialist. I don't know, but I think you definitely give him a chance from day one, really. Training camp in the summer. And if he's looking that good, throw him in the first game and let's see what he's got. I mean, why not? What do you have to lose? So, but I think, can he play as a winger as well?
Yeah, I think he can play as
is that his position? I thought he was more of an attacking mid.
Okay. Position, but he can also play as a 10. So pretty similar to Shaqiri, really, in that role.
Okay. Yeah, somebody said James Milner should never be an impact sub. Yeah, I mean, as much as he's been a great servant for Liverpool, we got to realize what it is. It's James Milner, and yes, he's not gonna. I mean, if we were up 2-0 in that game, I'd be the first person to say yes, bring Milner on. That would be great, but not when you're trying to chase a game. But it makes me wonder if we're trying to chase it.
The depth, you know, I'm really surprised. I need to check why Shaqiri didn't come on, but I think Jurgen Klopp maybe started to think, you know what, this could easily end up 1-0 to them, and you know, all of a sudden it feels like.
I don't like that mentality as a manager. I hope that that's not what he was thinking, because. You got to show. I mean, talk about the fans. You got to show some faith in your team. I mean, let's be honest. Bayern never really looked, except for that first half, but mistakes that we made. They never looked like they were going to score, JAMZ. I mean, not really. So that's a loser mentality. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but you know, you don't fold up like that in a game like that. And then he basically admitted in the post match that he gave Bayern way too much respect. How on earth are you doing that against a team that you so-called hate? I don't get that. JAMZ. I don't understand that. Way too much respect.
Maybe there's some psychological damage that Bayern have done to him by stealing.
Maybe. But either way, I don't like that. I don't like that, man. You gave them way too much respect. And we talk about the second half. The first half is the half where I think we had more of the chances or better chances. You know what I mean? I don't mean shots on target. I just mean, you know, moments where we moved the ball beautifully. And you know, somebody, I think maybe it might have been you. Somebody retweeted that passage of play where we gave the ball to him, then we got it back, and it went over to, I think, Genie. And as good as it was, it made me cringe, because there was so many moments like that where that final ball, if we just completed it, we would have. And you know, as good as a goalkeeper as Noor is, or whatever his name is, you know, we could have given him a harder evening. We really could have given him more work to do, and we didn't. So it is what it is. I'm slowly but surely forgetting that game and focusing on Man United. So give me a I know it's early, but what are you thinking about a score prediction in that game?
Massive game final to me. So I'm gonna go with score prediction. I'm gonna say 3-1 Liverpool again. I think Rashford might get a goal or Pogba might, but I think we will be the stronger side. I'm really backing Salah to get a goal, because he's not been getting the goals in the big teams, you know, except Napoli and Arsenal. No goals in PSG, no goals at Chelsea, no goals with City, and these are 180 minutes now, 2 legs. So I really want Salah to shut everyone up. You know, I'd even love him to get 2. I'd love him to get a hat trick. But yeah,
that'd be great.
I'm going with Salah, and you know what? I think Naby's banging on the door now. And what a game it would be for Naby to score his first Liverpool goal.
Especially all the hate United fans have been giving Naby.
All the hate, just because Fred's shit They're trying to push it over to Naby, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to push it over to Naby because Fred's shit. But yeah, I'm gonna go 3-1 Liverpool. I'm gonna go first goal. You know what? Big Virgil. It's gonna come from a corner. We're not gonna expect it. We're 1-0 down. Virgil's gonna get us in it 1-1, and then we're gonna steam through it. Salah make it 2, and then Naby to finish it off.
3-1. Okay. Yeah.
You?
I think this would be much. Did we beat them 2-1 or 3-1 last game?
3-1. Last year, last game, Shaqiri came on and scored 2. Do you remember?
So it was 2-1, right?
3-1.
3-1. Sorry, because we scored
first. He scored a half volley 1-on-1 with the game, and then Shaqiri came on.
This one's tough, man. At the toilet, I think. I'm saying something a little bit closer. Yeah, I am. I hate to say it, but I'm seeing something a bit closer. I think it'll be a frustrating match, but I think we'll nick it 2-1. I think we nick it 2-1. I think they score first, and I think there's a bit of nerve, maybe a bit of panic, not really with the players, but just the fan base, the traveling support, even. And then we get in, and who scores? I don't know, but as long as we win the game, obviously, I don't care what it is, 5-3, whatever. We got more points than them. I'm happy with it. Yeah. But I am confident, that's for sure. I'm not feeling like because of what happened against Bayern, we won't be able to do it. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So let's hope for the best. Yo, man, thank you so much, man. This is great for making time. We went longer than I thought, which is good. We always have so much to talk about. Somebody's bringing up Brewster now. We probably could talk for another half hour for that. But
I don't mind.
Yeah, bro. So what do you know of Brewster? I feel like I've asked you that before. I mean, obviously Klopp rates him. He's kept him on. I'm really eager to see this dude, man. I'm really eager to see him play. What do you know about him, if anything?
So there's a massive hype around him, obviously on social media, but in England, obviously, because he won the Golden Boot for the under-19. So we're talking about the player that he was the best player in a team that had Sancho, a team that had Session, a team that had Nelson. All these players that are now kind of talked about. Nelson and Sancho, and these are players that are doing all well in Germany and England. He was the main player. I think he scored a double in the semis. He won Golden Boot, and then Foden won Golden Player. So you look at everyone else that's gone on to do, I say great things, but have had wonderful first seasons or two. Foden, Sancho, and Session. Who Session slowed down a little bit, but last year he was phenomenal.
Who's it? Session? Yeah.
Session, the one who's at Fulham. He got great talent last year. And I think we can go on to him, but I would even back Liverpool to buy him. I think he'll be a great talent. Anyway, Brewster was the spearhead of that team. He was the main guy. He was the goal scorer. He was one that dragged them kids through the semis. He was phenomenal. Now, people were comparing his campaign to, campaigns that Messi had at Argentina under-19 World Cups and, the great. So there was a lot of hype around him, and Jurgen Klopp, really liked him. And he's also built quite well for his age at the time. Then he's had this lengthy injury. And in that time, players like Sancho and Foden have kind of become almost starters. Well, Sancho's a starter, but Foden isn't. But me personally, I definitely feel like we need to give him a few years. He's not doing what the average kid does average footballing kid does at 16, 17. Not only is he representing his country, he's the most talked about child. He was the most talked about Golden Boot. And to get the Golden Boot in the under-19 World Cup, which means he outscored every other striker representing all the other nations, outscored Brazil, outscored France, outscored, Argentina. He's obviously special. And Jurgen Klopp obviously thinks he's special because he's constantly in the limelight for Liverpool. Like, he does advertising for clothes. He was asked about his thoughts on racism in football alongside legends like John Barnes and Ian Wright. And so, I just hope this limelight and this kind of fame isn't going to affect him do you know what I mean? That's my only concern, because he's actually not done any real football for the first team. So it's a lot of hype for someone that, you know what I mean? And the same could be said with Woodburn. He just vanished and everyone spoke about him.
Yeah. I think, Woodburn is definitely, and again, these guys are young. I don't mean to be this harsh, but he's definitely done. And the thing with him is he's not doing well when he gets on these loans. So I'm just thinking, what's up with the other Brazilian? I think his name is
Alan.
What's up with, come on, what is this situation? When is he ever going to play in a red shirt? When?
Yeah, I think it's done now. I think
It must be.
Yeah, he's gone back to Germany. Germany. So what, man, about Brazil, and apparently he needed to get a work permit. It's really stupid. And the only way you can get a work permit is by surpassing so many X, Y, and Z appearances in a season for.
Right.
And I don't get it, but England have this stupid rule, but Germany don't, and that's why That's why we struggle to have so much young talents coming in. But I don't get the ins and outs, because Man City got around Jesus' rap really well. But all I know is every time he goes on loan, he never reaches enough appearances, so he's obviously not having great loan sessions. And the fact that we've sent him back to Brazil, that is a massive backstep. You only go back to Brazil to retire or to find your form if no one wants you in Europe. So I think we've washed our hands of him. I think he's lived a good lifestyle. If you look at his social media, he can seem to somehow keep up with Firmino and Coutinho and all them Brazilians at the time. So I just think it's not going to work out. He's obviously not good enough. It must be that, because if he was good enough, he'd be getting game times in Germany.
That's what I'm thinking, which is unfortunate, because I feel like he could have had a bright career, but hey, it is what it is.
He's got to be like 22 or something. He can't.
Very, very early 20s. He's got to be. I don't know exactly, but he's got to be he's got to be around that age. There's been talk here recently about Sancho. I watched him, because I've never seen a full game, but I watched him against, I think it's Nuremberg. They played the other day.
Yeah.
In the Bundesliga.
Is that when he scored and then a disallowed goal as well?
Say again?
Is that the game he scored and then they had a disallowed goal?
Yeah, I think that was it. If I'm thinking correctly. But he looks good. I can kind of see what the hype is about. But he's going to be a heavy fee either way, I would imagine. In the summer. So Nicolas Pepe is another guy playing the French league. Always kind of, I think that's.
Who does he play for? I heard about Pepe.
He's with Lille.
Lille, and is he a winger?
I believe he's a winger. He might be a striker. Somebody in the comment section, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's a winger though.
And the French, is he? Nationality?
Yeah. You know how it goes, African French, type of thing. But yeah. So there's guys out there, and again, I mean, Mike Edwards is always pulling some out of the bag. I mean, let's be honest. Fab came out of nowhere. I never knew that was even a potential target, and it was very, very, very under the radar. So I get excited for stuff like that, especially knowing that they're doing a due diligence as far as bringing players in, maybe guys that either we haven't heard of, or guys that we just didn't think they were on our radar. So definitely excited about that. But
Sancho, I'm not sure my thoughts on Sancho. I don't think we should go out and spend 80 mil, because that's how much I think it would probably end. I just think
upwards about that.
Yeah, I just think we're having I don't know, Harry Wilson or Brewster. I just think it's too. I haven't seen enough. 6 months of football, I don't think warrants 80 mil, and especially when you have Salah and Mane and Shaqiri and Harry Wilson, for instance. Man United fans said no, they want him because he'd come in and start for them straight away. For me, I'd probably would we rather that money on someone that's going to come in and win us the league this year, next year. You know, we need silverware now. We don't need silverware in 5 years' time. And we look back at Raheem Sterling. What's the point? We get Sancho, and then as soon as he gets good enough, he goes back to City. Or I'd rather go in for that Insigni, whatever.
From Napoli.
Yeah. I'd rather spend money.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like that idea of him, man, because I think that'll be a nice change up. Is he more of a striker though?
I think striker and winger.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think he can even maybe play that kind of 10 role if we need him, under Firmino. So and Senior for me seems like, just from what I've seen, I like the Nicolas Pepe guy, but again, he's kind of new on the scene, and Senior's been doing it for a while, so I like that shout more than anything.
It's risky, new on the scene. You look at some of the favorite talents of last year for me were the Brazilian Malcolm in France, the Jamaican Leon Bailey in Germany. Lots of these players, bro, have slowed the hell down this season. Thomas Lemar, we were linked to him for ages.
I haven't even heard anything about him most of the season.
Atletico Madrid, and I get it. Some of them, you could say the exact same about Naby Keita. So you could argue, well, But the matter of the fact is, some of these players are having 1 or 2 good seasons, and they're going for 80, 90 mil, and they're hovering on the bench, and and I just feel like it doesn't make sense. I'd rather go for the more or less finished article for now. You know, kind of conquer Europe next year, try get a league under us this year and then the next year. And then the young players will want to come anyway. You know, they'll want to play under us. They'll want to already, you know, Sancho would be thinking, oh, I could train with Salah, you know, with Mane, like, you know, he would want to come, and it's back in England and it's down the road from where he's from. He's a Manchester kid, so it's only half an hour. But I'm the same as you. I'd rather the finished article. There's too many young kids that, you know, except for Dembele. I think Dembele's phenomenal. Except for him, a lot of kids aren't.
Oh yeah, he's on a different level. I mean, him and Mbappe, guys like that, they're on a different level. I think from what I've seen in the younger, I agree with you on Sancho, but I think I do see this being something that he can keep up. I don't think it's going to be just like a one season thing. I could be wrong, but I think he can soon at least sit at the table with Mbappe and Dembele. But right now, they're definitely in a league of their own. Those two guys. I mean, they're going to be the next group. Say again?
I think he should stay where he is.
Yeah, I agree. I do as well. We'll see what happens with Sancho. But yeah, man. It's after a game like that, I wish the game was, you know, say tomorrow. You know, I just want to see Liverpool bounce right back right away. But I mean, maybe it's a good thing that you know, we get a little bit more rest. It looks. You said Lovren is definitely out, so I'm trying to think who else could make it. I mean, I think Shaqiri must have had some kind of something going on, and so maybe a little bit more time will give him. I don't really see. I mean, do you think a guy like Henderson? I mean, because we have that time, do you think he'll play him right back to back like that? Do you think he can play it another game? Because he ran his ass off. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't like what you said. I prefer the black excellence over the Brexit, and especially going to Old Trafford. I think Hendo is, you know, Hendo can play the next game at Anfield where we need to be a bit more calm and collective. But I think going to Old Trafford, we need to silence Pogba, and, you know, we need to start high tempo. And I don't know, but I do think Hendo might be the safe option. I don't know. It's tricky, really.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't want Hendo to start. That would be my team wouldn't include Hendo. It would be Fabinho, Wijnaldum, and Naby Keita. But I reckon in the comment section, there's probably people that are saying, nah, take Naby out, put Hendo in, or, you know, even Shaqiri. But I think Shaqiri is a great impact player. I don't think he's always as good when he starts from the bottom.
Yeah.
Starts from the
is there any chance you're going to be at the United game?
No, I can't get no tickets. Okay. So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, good talk. We'll try to get back sometime after the United game, I'd imagine. Yeah. And always good to talk to you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. You take care, bro.
Too.
Yeah.